As the Cooper Bulldogs run out onto the field here in Cooper, Texas, we await the Chisum Mustangs here in this battle of the Red River Valley. And here come the Mustangs through their inflatable and led by a number of young men who are off to a fantastic start this season, including the sophomore quarterback, Callan Galligan. And you've also got the runner, the sophomore, a pair of them. Braden Jordan, who was our offensive MVP here on Paris Game Day in Week 1. I'm Stephen Johnston. Be joined alongside Mike Clark for tonight's game between the Cooper Bulldogs and the Chisum Mustangs. And Mike, man, I'm really excited about this one because it's our first opportunity for Paris Game Day to see Chisum and an offense that has come out very explosive in the early goings of this season.
Well, I can say just from personal experience, my son is a lineman for the Mustangs, and I've had the privilege of watching them the last 2 weeks, and I've come accustomed over the last years of Chisum's kind of offense being just run, punt, run, punt. And this offense is very balanced. And I was very surprised coming out with a 39-14 win in Week 1 against Hugh Springs. And I thought, man, this isn't your grandma's Mustangs. And they've really come out of the gate strong. Had a good showing against a strong Tom Bean team last week. Weather shut them down at halftime. They were trailing 21-20. And really excited. This will be a good test tonight, Stephen, to see because although Cooper is 0-2, they played some really good teams. So it's going to be a good test for Chisum because I don't know when the last time they actually beat Cooper in a varsity football game.
Yeah, and you mentioned Cooper being 0-2. Well, one of those comes against a very good Grand Saline team that the Chisum Mustangs will see later on in this district season when they get that going in 9-3A Division II. And that was a 42-41 ball game. And you mentioned the weather shutting down Chisum last week. It also shut down the Cooper versus Collinsville game. Collinsville, a very good Class 2A team. That was a 14-0 ball game whenever that one was called. And we have the captains on the field for both teams getting ready to flip the coin. And you know, there are a number of young men for this Chisum Mustang team that, Mike, really have turned up their play, whether they are first-time players. We mentioned a couple of sophomores already, but young men like Gunnar Turman, you look at Wyatt Easley, Tanner Spear, those kids who are making a return or playing their first year as a junior or senior, they've had a lot of impact as well.
They really have. And Braden Jordan, you alluded to him earlier, 6 touchdowns on the year, averaging 1 touchdown per quarter that he's played this year. And this will be his 3rd game on varsity. So he's really flown out of the gates real strong. And Gunnar Turman, he's a backup quarterback, but if you see him in the shotgun, he's a dual threat. He can throw it and run it pretty quickly. And
good player on defense as well.
Absolutely. And Tanner Spear, as good as he is running the ball, he is a beast as a defender. Matter of fact, he leads the Mustangs with 10 tackles this year on defense. So Tanner Spear's phenomenal athlete. And you mentioned the Easley boy, Wyatt Easley. He, in the first game against Hugh Springs, had an 82-yard connection from Gallahan for a touchdown and set up the first touchdown of the season for the Mustangs. So it was exciting things happening with the Mustangs.
Yeah, and, you know, the funny thing about it is they have a senior Gallahan who had transferred, having to sit out. There's a lot of things going on there, but nonetheless – you know, talking to Coach Millsap early on, he's like, you know, I'm really interested how this is going to work out because we have a lefty sophomore who's the younger of the two, and we really like him. So there's a chance that young man, if we're flowing, if we're going and rolling, then we may just stick with him and find another place for Caden and roll with Callan as the quarterback. And so that's a pretty interesting but good position to be in.
Well, one thing you'll notice tonight is Callan Gallahan is very poised in the pocket. You see a lot of high school quarterbacks, if they drop a snap or have a low snap, they get rattled, and you can tell by the way that they react. And it looks like we missed the coin toss there. Did you catch that? But anyway, the Callan Gallahan, he does not get rattled when something happens. He's very calm in the pocket. He doesn't overreact to pressure. He's good at avoiding things. I've just been very impressed with him.
And now, of course, we're going to have our nation's anthem. We are here in Cooper, Texas, so it'll be led by the Chisum band. I believe the opposing band is it, or the home band, rather, that does the national anthem. So we will pause for a second and let you enjoy that. All right, thank you very much to the Cooper Bulldog Band for leading us in the national anthem here tonight. And Mike, any final thoughts before we get this one kicked off from Cooper, Texas?
Man, I'm just excited to see how the Mustangs perform against a really good Cooper Bulldog team. This team, year in, year out, has got a lot of scrap, and they're always competitive. So I look for Chisum to try to get a big defensive stop here to get the momentum going in their direction.
So I will say, still not entirely sure who won the toss and who decided to receive or defer to the second half, whatever the case may be. But I always see it as a great advantage for a team to kick off, to open a game. Of course, when the second quarter is starting to wind down, you can get that 2-for-1, or as I like to see it, as 3 out of 4. If you can get the final drive of the second quarter, you take the kickoff to start the third, you give the ball back, and then you take the ball back.
Yes,
that's 3 out of 4 drives, and that's massive. And so it will be the Chisum Mustangs kicking off to the Cooper Bulldogs to open things up here on Paris Game Day. Thank you guys very much for joining us. As you roll in, especially on Facebook, if you can, give it a share. Let people know where they can watch their Chisum Mustangs or their Cooper Bulldogs. This kickoff taken around the 13-yard line, cutting to the right sideline, and finally taken down around the 35-yard line. That was Braden Williams on the return. And that is where the Cooper Bulldog offense will come out onto the field. And obviously last week's game shortened, but week 1 they put up 41 points. And then week 2, 0, blanked. So what are we going to see from the Cooper Bulldog offense? They're going to come out 2 wide, top of your screen. Quarterback is going to be Meeks. Out of the shotgun, man in motion, right to left, handoff, sweep. And this is going to go all the way to the house. One man to beat. Chasing down, and finally Gunnar Turman inside the 10-yard line. So a big pop on the first play from Corey and Finney. He was big in this offense last year. We called the Cooper Bulldog playoff game, and Finney was a name that we mentioned quite often.
Yeah, Finney got around the outside, and they did a good job of blocking off the containment on the outside, and if it had not been for Turman, that would have been a touchdown.
So Miller out of the shotgun, hands off, Meeks up the middle, and will he be in? It's right there at the goal line, and they say yes, the ball broke the plane. 2 plays, and the Cooper Bulldogs put 6 on the board.
Cooper sure made that look easy, Stephen. 2 plays, they go, 65 yards or so. Not the start that Chisum wanted, but I've seen this Chisum offense explode also, so we'll see what happens.
It's going to be about responding for certain. So extra point from the Cooper Bulldogs. Snap, hold. It's up, and in small school ball, you never know. It's no good.
Right.
So Cooper with the very early lead. We're going to step aside. We will be right back here on Game Day.
Yay! We're so excited you decided to become a member.
Thanks. I didn't think it would be this easy.
I know. We've opened up memberships so even more people can take advantage of our amazing services.
Are you going to clean this up?
Become a new member and take advantage of all RRCU can offer. Experience the credit union difference anytime, anywhere.
No, seriously, are you going to clean this up?
Do you RRCU?
And the Cooper Bulldogs will be kicking off to the Chisum Mustangs, and it'll be pretty imperative that Chisum responds after such a quick blink of an eye drive from the Cooper Bulldogs. And it looks like it'll be Williams to kick this one. Chisum with two back deep, and it's just a short little squib. It's going to be picked up by Spear. Spear trying to find somewhere. They'll start about the same place that Cooper did on their initial drive, 34-yard line.
That sets Chisum up with good field position to start their possession. Chisum likes to come out throwing the ball, and that's something that we haven't been able to say about Chisum in a long time.
Yeah, ever since the Nick Tisdale days, where
Yes.
he and Coach Wasrick were running up and down the field for the Mustangs, setting all kinds of school records. And now Braden Jordan, sophomore back, with Gallahan, the sophomore quarterback. And they're going to come out four wide, two to each side. Out of the gun, man comes in motion, left to right. Hand off to Turman, and he'll be knocked for a loss of 2.
Levi O'Neal, linebacker, was back there, kind of came through unblocked and broke up that play, caused a 2-yard loss, 2nd down and 12.
And that's one thing about Cooper. They always bring a really mean defensive line, so you're going to have to win up front if you're the Chisum Mustangs. Handoff, Jordan breaks through, and he's going to pick up the missed yardage from the previous play and set up about 3rd and 3. So a really good run from Braden Jordan, the sophomore back.
We got to credit Hunter Holland there on the end. Had a good seal block, which opened up the hole for Braden to get through there on the right side to make this a very short, manageable down. Matter of fact, at this position, you may even be 2 down territory here, Stephen.
So out of the gun, trips at the bottom of your screen. They're going to hand off Jordan. He picks through a hole, and Jordan diving ahead for a 1st down. And that is something that was really needed for Chisum to pick up that initial 1st down to get this drive going.
Yeah, you want to start off your game by having some kind of momentum and have some kind of rhythm in your offense. And so many times we've seen in years past, the 3 and out can just kind of demoralize a team. But this Chisum team is resilient.
Now empty gun. Heavy left, man in motion, right to left. They'll hand it off to him. And picking up a couple of yards that time is Spear. Setting up 2nd down and 8 at midfield.
It's like Joshua Scantlin was there on that tackle, along with a couple other Bulldogs. Did a good job of sealing up that hole in a hurry as Tanner came through.
They'll go back to the double twin set. Gallahan throwing quick out to the left side, and this ball just a little bit beyond the reach. Looking to go to Spear one more time, and that's going to set up 3rd and 8 on the incompletion.
That quick little receiver screen has been successful so far this year. This Gallahan just got a little too excited, put a little too much air under it that time.
And I know that it seems like a simple throw, and it in large part is, But ball placement is so vitally important on those screens. If you're down the field, it's okay to, throw behind a guy, but on a screen, that can dictate whether you pick up yardage or if it takes time to develop like this, had to jump up and grab the ball, and that kind of disrupts the timing.
Well, it's a timing play. The ball has to come out quick. If you're slow coming out, the defense has a chance to read it and react to it. If you get it out quick and accurately, then there's only one guy to beat around the outside, and you got the sideline. Both of those throws were high.
4th and 11 for Chisum after picking up that initial first down on a few Braden Jordan runs, and now they will, what we assume will be the punt unit, Gunnar Turman. Man in motion left to right. Turman was the up man, rather. Fair catch called, but a very nice punt. And the Cooper Bulldogs will take over right around the 25, ball left hash. And now if you're Chisum, the offensive drive started out pretty good, picking up that first down. But what you need now is, without question, a little resistance on defense.
I think they really need to try to seal up those edges. I think they've got a pretty good defensive line that slowed the run down up the middle all year so far. Just can't let anybody get outside with that speed.
Yeah, you mentioned Hunter Holland earlier, and a great job that time. I'm going to see if I can see who that young man was that sealed that edge. Yeah, I'm thinking that was Noah Irizar. Just got the right amount of depth, and that forced the ball carrier back inside and then cleaned up by what looks like a little bear front. Hand off and making a man miss before being taken down for a gain of about 5 or 6. So that'll set up 3rd down.
I tell you what helped right there, Lucas Dixon. He held containment. He forced the quarterback to bust it back inside, and that enabled the Mustang defenders to come and make that stop and prevent a first down.
And now the challenging part for Chisum, is it run or pass? A little bit of an open playbook on 3rd down. They're going to jet sweep left and push ahead for the first down.
Well, he did a good job. He kind of carried Hunter Holland. Hunter Holland was on his back, and he carried him that last 2 yards to get that first down.
So ball at the 39-yard line. And now it looks like we've got a young man coming off on his own power but hobbling. Hopefully
Joshua Scantlin
is okay. So it'll be Miller coming out with Meeks in the backfield with him. Miller's going to take it himself, and there's that outside run. And like you said, coming to the right side, they were able to seal the edge, force back in. That left side is where they had the long run on their first drive, and they were able to break another one there.
Well, Gavin Johnson made a touchdown saving tackle there on the sideline. So, again, he is your safety. If your safety's making the tackle, he's the last guy.
Yeah, maybe if he's buzzed down as a linebacker type of situation, then it's not as bad. But otherwise, low snap and sprinting after the ball. Looks like Chisum has it. Yes, the Mustangs are going to come up with a big turnover, and they will be setting up in Cooper Bulldog territory.
Well, that's what you need right there. To win a game like this, you need some breaks every once in a while. And that's what Chisum needed, being down 6-0. They needed, and they're having to punt on their first possession. They needed to try to get that ball back. So they did manage to get a stop, even though it was at the mistake of the Bulldogs.
Now, you tested Cooper with Jordan. Jordan did well, picked up a first down. Then you tested the edges with some screens. those didn't go as well. It'll be interesting to see how Chisum comes out. Trip, set, left. Out of the shotgun. Handoff Jordan. He'll be hit after a short gain. Taken down around the 41-yard line.
Well, if you want to know if Josh Scantlin, the guy who came off the field injured, how he was doing, he's fine. He's back in the game and just made the tackle.
Yeah, we mentioned Cooper has a reputation. They have a tradition. They take pride in defense and a defensive line that can be mean and nasty. Fake the handoff to Turman. The ball's on the ground again, and it looks like Cooper's going to take it back.
I think so.
And yes, Cooper Bulldog football.
And I think that was Braden Jordan on the fumble.
It was, yes, sir.
Well, that's
so a little sloppy early on for really both teams. You had a couple of turnovers, and
I think that's the first fumble of the year for Chisum. They've had a couple of interceptions that have been thrown because they've thrown hit pretty heavy against Tom Bean. But I don't remember them fumbling a handoff on the season, so they've been pretty disciplined.
And they've ran the ball quite a bit as well. Like you said, a pretty balanced offense. So Cooper coming out. Shotgun, handoff. And that one is dead in the water. Great job by the left side of that Chisum defensive line, including Nathan Turner, who had a big week last week.
Yeah, Nathan Turner did a great job of not biting on the fake. He stood there and kept his position on that containment, and Gunnar Turman came over and helped him assist on the tackle. Good job on a 3-yard loss there for the Mustangs.
They'll set up second down and 13. Miller out of the gun, heavy left. Play action, rolling to his right. Got a man in his face, and it's going to be intercepted. And that's Gunnar Turman coming up with that ball. And the Chisum Mustangs get back-to-back turnovers in Cooper Bulldog territory. And, we talked about a team that is explosive offensively. They've been putting up a lot of points. It's time to do that right here, right now.
Stephen, I didn't get the number, but there was some pressure on the quarterback, and he kind of had to throw it off the back foot, and I believe that's one of the things that contributed to that.
Yeah, I think that was Urizar again.
So Chisum with back-to-back turnovers, they have a chance. I'd like to see them test this Cooper defense deep and see what they've got in the deep coverage.
Yeah, on the back end there in the secondary. Now you're going to have to protect. We talked about how good that line is.
Yes, they're very good.
Almost got Cooper to jump there. Snap back, looking. They want to go deep. They do go deep into double coverage and nearly pulls it down. That was Gavin Johnson intended, but you also had Carter Randall standing right there.
You had Nathan Turner along the sideline, and he looked like he was more open. But I got my wish. I asked for a deep shot, and I like the deep shots because it keeps the defense honest. They can't just stack the box.
Well, Cooper looks like they're going to stack the box anyway. Snap, hand off. This time it's going to be Spear. Moves it ahead for a couple of yards. Clock rolling at about 5 minutes remaining in this quarter.
Tackle made by Peyton Petty. He's the right guard for the Bulldog defense. 3rd and long.
Yeah, and you're in Cooper territory, obviously, first quarter. So what I would say is your goal should be to pick up a minimum of half.
Exactly. I think, yeah, exactly. 4 or 5 yards here, you're definitely going for it on 4th.
Galligan, and he throws it backwards. This play is still alive, and, they say incomplete, and that actually is going to save the Chisum Mustangs. He absolutely threw that thing backwards.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I don't know if did they have a receiver in the area. I didn't notice.
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It was thrown backwards. Because you could actually argue that was intentional grounding too, if there wasn't a receiver in the area.
Yeah, I mean, still, regardless, none of that applies if you throw it backwards. It's just a live ball. It's a
live
fumble.
Ball. It's a fumble. So, yeah.
So regardless, they said, half, doesn't matter, whatever you guys were talking about. We're going to go for it anyway. And then he's going to launch a deep ball down the middle, and this one's intercepted, coming the other way and taken down. Was that 2 or 22?
22, I
22.
think.
So Corey and Finney, again, a young man that we've seen quite often, even in the early goings of this game. And, not the end of the world, 4th down.
It's almost like a punt.
It's
really,
essentially a punt.
You look where they caught it. So.
Yeah, and, there's always that conundrum. The coach is like, you got to bat that one down. We get the ball way back here. And then the player's like, instincts, coach.
Yeah. Yeah, what if he catches it and runs it back for a touchdown, coach? Yeah. You're not going to get a player to want to bat a ball down.
So here's Miller out of the shotgun for Cooper.
Testing that right side again.
Chisum right side, Cooper left side, and great job by the Mustangs that time as Cooper had been feasting over that direction. And this time limiting them to a gain of just a couple. Sets up 2nd down and 8. Nose of the ball right at the 20-yard line, left hash. Miller with Meeks to his left. And they'll keep it with Miller, and that's a lot of room. And some big-time blocking down the field in the middle, and Miller is going to take it all the way to the crib. That is 80 yards, and they just opened up the hole. There wasn't much in the back end.
You could have drove a truck through that hole. You and I could have scored on that play.
Well, you maybe. I know Miles Sanders would not have scored on that. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, a little too much, too soon. Sorry, guys.
Well, I should say you and I could have hit that hole. I'll put it that way. We may not have. We wouldn't have scored. It's got to be a big hole for me to get through it.
And they're going to go for 2. Handoff. Up the gut, and they pick it up, making up for the missed extra point earlier. 14-0. Cooper with the lead. Chisum taking the kickoff when we come back here on Game Day.
We're here at the biggest game of the year for the kickoff, and I say these local guys have no competition, John.
No doubt, Stephen. Why sweat in the press box?
When you can sit like a king.
And we got the best seats in the house right here, baby.
Where every seat is the best seat.
Oh, yeah. Texas Furniture and Appliance. Local since 1927.
These players are definitely in their comfort zone.
You say something?
And back in Cooper, Texas, the Bulldogs take an early 14-0 lead over the Chisum Mustangs. And for Chisum, it's going to be a matter of finding your footing offensively. I think we've seen some things from the defensive side of the ball where, this big play and then the second time around, okay, we adjust and we stop it. So I could see where Chisum could come into their own there. We haven't really seen them get their footing on offense yet.
Not at all. There's another squib kick.
And picked up, running to the right and nearly able to slip through that tackle, and there would have been a little bit of running room if he had been able to. And
that was Carter Embry. Carter is quick, and if he'd have hit that outside, look out. But yeah, if Chisum can get some offense going, we got to remember they get third quarter kickoff. And so if they can just keep this thing a one-score game at halftime, they're still in this thing by every stretch.
And that's why you do it. I am always just floored, baffled when teams elect to take the opening kickoff. Well, we want to establish tone. Establish it on defense. Dang,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, right.
4 wide for Gallahan. Man comes in motion, hand off. Jordan, right side, finds the hole, and he'll push through for a gain of 6 on first down.
Some good lead blocking there for Braden to help him get that extra push.
One thing I love that they are doing is using motion, and it may just be moving a guy, but it can be something that disrupts the eyes of the defense. Have a guy coming left, you've handed it to him a few times, you've thrown it to him a few times, and then next thing you know, Jordan's going the other way. So I love when teams use a lot of motion. Snap, they're going to quick throw out left side. There's a block, just kind of ran right into it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was just a great job by the Cooper defense of getting through a blocker. There were blockers there. Gunnar Turman had the edge blocked, but the defenders did a good job of shucking that block and getting his hand on the runner to prevent a big gain.
Yeah, and the screen, the momentum's kind of taking you that direction. Even though your receiver has that man sealed off, you weren't really able to get the push against him. And next thing you know, you're just kind of in this collision. So 3rd down and 4. Trips at the top of your screen. Gallahan's going to hand it off, and that'll be a first down for Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan's been going off the right side quite a bit this time, testing the left side of that Cooper defense. A good push to get the yardage that he needed for the first down. If Chisum could just put together a solid drive where they're moving the chains methodically and burning clock, one strategy would be keep Cooper off the field. They can't score.
Man in motion, left to right. Here's the snap, looking that way, and then throwing across the middle of the field and broken up. Good defensive play.
Yeah, Jace Meeks, he's in the linebacker position, Mike linebacker position, and he just did a good job of reading the quarterback's eyes and ranging over to his left and just batting that ball down. There was a receiver that was open doing a little cross pattern, and that probably would have been, if he had caught that pass, it probably would have moved the chains again. So a great job there by Meeks.
Yeah, and you're trying to find that window in that zone defense, and looked like he did that, sat down in it, and Meeks just shuffled over to his left side and was able to disrupt it. Hand off, Jordan picking his way through, and I tell you, that is the great thing about how he runs. It's not explosive. It's not just, he's not a burner, but he can pick and see what's developing in front of him.
He seems to, you're right, I was going to hit on that. It seems like he has good vision to hit the hole that's there, and he can even, squeeze through. If he gets in the open field, you'll be surprised how fast he is.
Well, he ran for an 82-yard touchdown in the opener. Here's
Tanner Spear.
Spear takes the jet sweep and looked like he was able to make that first man miss, and the second man was right there to clean it up. And that might be the final play of this first quarter.
Yeah, Chisum's going to let this go out and go to the sideline and talk about it.
And we will step aside with them. 14-0, Cooper Bulldogs on top of the Chisum Mustangs here on Game Day.
Ready to rep your school and your wallet?
I'm here to open a student account and score that sweet school debit card.
With no monthly fees, mobile banking, and a debit card that shows your school pride, our student account is built for your game plan.
Get in the game. Open yours today.
First Federal Community Bank, the only bank you'll ever need.
First Federal Community Bank, the only bank you'll ever need.
And back here in Cooper, Texas, where the Bulldogs struck early. Second, two-play drive on the opening offensive series for the Cooper Bulldogs. And then we had a little bit of a defensive struggle, a little bit of sloppy football with some turnovers, but, both teams kind of bowing their necks with the exception of one other long Cooper Bulldog run. Now we'll see 4th down for Chisum, and they're right at midfield and looking like, for the time being at least, that they'll go for it. Running to the right side.
It's Turman.
And this one, I'm sure that they will decline this holding call.
Yeah, when they put Turman in back there at quarterback, you just almost always know it's going to be a run.
And they do decline it, and so the Cooper Bulldogs will take over.
Well, this Cooper defense has done a fantastic job of keeping the players in front of them. They're not allowing any big plays to develop. And that's one thing that Chisum gave up 2 big plays. They've done a pretty good job of keeping everything in front, but just 2 times they've not been able to get a body in front of the player. And that's the difference in the game right now.
So Miller out of the gun, Twins right, handoff, Meeks up the middle. Meeks is going to go, pulling away from the final defender. There's another explosive play that you were talking about. And the Cooper Bulldogs putting it on now.
Nothing complicated about that play. Just a little stretch run to the left. A couple of blockers in front of him, and once he hit the hole, there was nobody there.
And make no mistake about it, whenever you have a week like you did last week, Collinsville, a slightly smaller school, it's nasty, it's muggy, it's ugly out. You technically, quote unquote, get shut out, if you will. You're going to come back with a little bit of attitude at home as Miller is going to take the 2-point conversion and run it in. It is 22-0. Cooper leading Chisum. Mustangs taking the kickoff when we come back here on Game Day.
At Moore Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Paris, we can make your next vehicle purchase simple, stress-free, and built around you. Whether you're looking for a rugged Ram truck, an adventurous Jeep, or a quality pre-owned, we have the right vehicle for you at the right price. And with over 700 5-star reviews, our customers know that our friendly, knowledgeable staff is here for you. So come see us off the loop in Paris, Texas, and for more details, visit moorecdjr.com. At Moore.
And we are back on Game Day as the Cooper Bulldogs kickoff team taking to the field. And for Chisum, they really, when it has come to the shorter stuff, picking up the 3, 4, 5, 6 yard gains, Chisum has done that, and mostly that's Braden Jordan, right?
Right.
It's just that Cooper, when they're either getting stuffed for no gain or they are, 2 yards, whatever the case may be, otherwise they're ripping off long runs, and that's pretty much what's going on here.
Yeah, the Mustangs need to put together a drive here. I think they're going to have to attack the middle of the field. I think that little zone pass that they did a minute ago are the type of plays that they need to be trying to do to soften up this defense a little bit, to open up bigger running lanes for Jordan. But you feel like they've got to put some points on the board here,
of course,
to keep the game close. You give up 2 more scores before halftime, this thing will be out of hand. Put together a good drive right here, put some points on the board, maybe get one more stop. You get the ball in the third, you got a better ball game.
Hand off Jordan. And he'll push his way for about 3 yards, which is probably more than what was actually there.
Yeah, I didn't give it any hope of getting 3 yards. It looked like the line really did a good job on the defense of collapsing the hole, but just credit the Chisum offensive line and just keep pushing. Wasn't a tush push, but it was a push.
4 wide, Galligan, quick throw, trying to get somewhere to the edge, and they'll pick up a couple.
I think it's Nathan Turner on the catch.
So that sets up, and again, you're around midfield, sets up 3rd and 4. And with the way this game is going, you may say, you know what, man, we're going all the 4th downs, you know. So it'll be interesting to see what they elect to do in the playbook here on this 3rd down and medium. They'll hand it to Jordan. He picks through, and not a whole lot there. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And that's
a generous spot, too. I thought it looked like he lost a yard. So 4th down and about 4.
Well, unfortunately, picking up any kind of yardage at all, 1 yard, you may think about going for it. You pick up none, and, you know, you're technically in your own territory. So instead, they send out the punter. And it'll be Daniel Armenta scooping up the roller and then getting what's going to have a great bounce for Chisum inside the 20, down to close to the 15-yard line.
About a 40-yard punt.
With the roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
respectable.
It wasn't beautiful off the driver, but it got a run down the fairway, didn't it?
Considering that the snap was rolled to him.
Yeah.
And he had a defender right in his face getting ready to block it. And going back to week 1, Chisum's first possession of the year, they went 3 and out and they punted, and they had a punt blocked that was run in for a touchdown. So, yeah, that had to be in the back of the punter's mind too, is don't let this get blocked.
So now, yeah, you just can't let them extend this thing out. And, of course, if you're Cooper, you're thinking nails in the coffin early. Here's the snap, right side. Meeks just powerful in the trunks. And there's been a new term in football. It's not a new term, but I think because of Ashton Genty and him as a draft prospect and studying him, contact balance has been something that has really risen in football people's verbiage, and you can see Meeks with great contact balance, rarely going down on first contact. As here's a sweep out to the left side and down the sideline, couple of angles and hard hit.
Yeah, Gunnar Turman came and laid a lick to knock him out of bounds. That was a lick of frustration, I'm sure.
Yeah, Gunnar Turman, he's not the biggest guy, but I'll tell you, not scared to throw his body around. That is for certain.
He's pretty vicious on defense. But I promise you, this is not the first half that Chisum had envisioned coming into this game.
No, this is also why you play teams like Cooper, though. I'll tell you that. Handoff sweep going the other way.
Gavin Johnson coming in and making the tackle there. Perhaps saving the touchdown.
So now Cooper, Miller out of the shotgun, and that's going to be a false start. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, they're blowing the whistles, and There's nobody really hearing it. A little adjustment there. Yeah, you had an illegal shift, false start, pick your poison, really. And, you know, we talked about Cooper 0-2, a really close game against a very good Grand Saline team that's a little bit bigger than they are, classification up. And then you fall, you know, shortened night against Collinsville, 14-0, a division under you, but highly touted. So Cooper came out probably with the mindset of we gotta get right. This is a get right week. And meanwhile, you have the Chisum Mustangs who knew they were going to really get tested, and tested they've been. They need to step it up, and they know that Grand Saline is right around the corner as well. Fakes the handoff, throwing middle of the field, wide open, touchdown.
Yeah, it's a good call. Chisum was pretty much selling out for the run. They had a three-man front, but they had all the linebackers up, corners playing up. Everybody's anticipating the run because they've just been killing them.
Part of the problem is that they've been ripping off long runs.
Yes.
You know, if you're keeping them, you know, 3, 4, 5 yards, you know, obviously that's productive. But if you're able to limit that, then those safeties won't feel the need to roll up.
Yep.
Or take a step on play action. So they'll go for 2, and a little slow developing handoff there. Very interesting play, but goes nowhere. It's 28-0. The Cooper Bulldogs with the lead. Chisum needing to get the offense rolling, and we'll step aside here on game day.
Sorry you're under the weather, Susie. Here are those loan docs.
Thanks, James. I'm so glad we didn't have to delay this closing.
Tissue?
Thanks.
Secure and safe loan closings, or take care of just about any banking task. Experience the credit union difference. Anytime, anywhere. With RRCU's digital banking. Do you RRCU?
Back on game day, and it's been domination by the Cooper Bulldogs. And Chisum Mustangs, again, they will get the second half kickoff, but you kind of got to get rolling early, or else that 2 for 1, 3 out of 4, whatever it is that you want to call it, it's not going to matter just a whole heck of a lot.
Well, one thing about a game like this, you saw how close they were to Grand Saline on the scoreboard. It gives you an idea of where you are against a team like Grand Saline and where you need to work on in your district play. That's a squib kick down to the 40.
Handled by Caden Daniel. And also noting, again, this is a very young Chisum Mustang team. Your quarterback is a sophomore. Running back is a sophomore. You know, we mentioned Gunnar Turman's name a ton, Tanner Spears' name. They're both juniors. So this is a team that is learning how to play at this level, varsity level and against competition like a Cooper Bulldog team. And what I'm really impressed with, if you go back to last year, Tom Bean took it to Cooper. I mean, took it to Chisum.
Yes, they did.
And so part of the goal for teams that had a down year like Chisum did last year is to win the close ones and close the gap on the blowouts. And that's exactly what they did against Tom Bean last week. Obviously didn't get to finish that game.
Yeah, that was some contact.
Yeah, it's within.
Well, the ball was overthrown anyway.
Well,
there was a screen pass to Tanner, and the defender was on him before the ball got there.
So that'll set up second down and 10, ball at the 40. Four wide for the Mustangs. Handoff Jordan trying to pick his way through, puts his head down, and He'll pick up about 4. And Jordan, man, with the exception of the fumble, of course, he's having a good night, chalking up 4, 5, 6 yards a carry. Hasn't been able to break through with one, but positive yardage. You're seeing a lot of positive yardage out of Jordan. And with district, here's where it gets tricky. When you have a guy who you could consider a bell cow, which I would with Jordan, you don't want to run him through too much in the pre-district. As Gallahan out of the gun, Cooper jumps. You got a free play coming. Let's just see what they do with it. They're going to let it rip, and it's intercepted to no real avail.
Well, that offsides will make it 3rd and very short. The thing about Braden, he's just a sophomore, so you have a couple more years in the weight room. You got 2 years of this guy getting bigger, stronger, more experience. I think the future looks bright for the Mustangs over the next several years.
What I think that he does naturally, and sometimes it's tough to teach kids, even when you get into the college level, is to run with a good pad level. He doesn't run high. He runs where his legs give him an advantage in terms of their power. Well, here he's going to be stopped for no gain.
Yeah, they were keying on number 9 right there.
As they should.
As they should.
So now you're kind of in the same conundrum as you were in the previous drive. You had 3rd and short, and you're like, okay, any yardage here, and we can either pick up the first down or go for it, and you end up stepping backwards. Now, that was a 4th and 4. This is a 4th and 3, and this looks like the Chisum Mustangs are leaving the offense on the field. Gallahan out of the shotgun, brings a man in motion right to left, and play is blown dead.
May have been a timeout. Timeout Chisum.
Timeout Chisum. Cooper leading 28-0. We will step aside here on game day.
Hey, I'm Josh Charette, project manager with 2B Builders. We're a local GC here in Texarkana. We have Lone Star out here doing our heating and AC. They do a good job for us. We really appreciate the customer service that they provide. I know that at Lone Star Heating and Air, I can always call Matt or Dave, their head commercial HVAC guy, and they will always pick up the phone when I need them. And that's a big thing when we're working out here on these commercial projects. Usually when we're in a bind, we need something and we need it pretty quickly, and we can rely on Lone Star for that.
And out of the timeout, we're going to be setting up 4th and 2. And when you call that timeout with your offense on the field, that usually means you wanted to take a look at what Cooper was going to do, lining up, how they wanted to set up on defense. And they send the offense right back out.
They got a 6-man front. Look like they're all going to. And there he goes.
They get him to jump, and Gallahan's got another free play, and he's going deep, a little too deep. But nonetheless, they're going to pick up the first down on the penalty.
Yeah, those Bulldogs are kind of licking their chops. They've got a taste of blood in the water, and they're ready to go. So it's very smart, I think, them to come up and do a hard count and try to get them to jump off sides and get 5 free yards.
Yeah, knowing how aggressive they're being.
Yes,
for certain.
I definitely would alternate my snap counts moving forward.
And Gallahan, he knows when he's got a free play. I mean, it's like I'm going to the guy with the deepest route every time.
Yeah, he's got a good arm.
Empty backfield. Gallahan, this looks like a screen, and it is, and a successful one at that. Spears gonna take this one for 12, and that's about as successful as of an offensive play as Chisum has had here tonight.
Yeah, when I saw 4 maroon jerseys, I'm like, did nobody block? Then I was like, oh, yeah, it's a screen. That was a great play.
Yeah, very good call. Taking advantage 2 plays in a row of that aggressiveness, and then Chisum gets a little aggressive and jumps offside. And unfortunately, that's what you can't have because Cooper, you know, they have played pretty flawless here tonight with the exception of jumping offside a couple of times. But Chisum's offense hasn't been dynamic enough to put yourself behind the chains.
No, at least not in this game. They've overcome some things the first 2 weeks. They've overcome some penalties. But this team has been a lot more disciplined this year on penalties than they have been in years past. So somebody has got to pick up some blocks.
Yeah, Miller just came screaming.
Yeah, it's like there had to be somebody on that other side that was supposed to pick him up.
And that's you got one receiver down at the bottom, Nathan Turner, and then it's quads at the top. So
yeah,
you've got the bodies out there to block. You just got to execute.
Those are the things that you go to the film room and you show them, hey, guys, this is where we messed up here, where we messed up there.
And we know that, from watching him run on offense, that Miller is quick, fast. You've got to get a body on him and slow him down a little bit. Jet sweep, left side, spear. Picks up some of that yardage.
That play seemed like it took forever to develop.
Yeah.
And those on a team as physical and as fast as Cooper, you've got to develop a play a little faster than that, I would think, to be successful anyway.
And again, now in a situation, you're in Cooper Bulldog territory at their 39. You got to pick up about half of it here and get this to a manageable 4th down because you're going to go for it. There's really no question about that for the Chisum Mustangs. 5 wide, looking, keeping his eyes downfield, and then just throws one up, and it's intercepted coming the other way. And Cooper, oh goodness, yeah, this one's going. This is going to end up being about a 88-yard interception for the Cooper Bulldogs. And we said his name a couple of times, Corian Finney.
That time Cooper only sent 4 on the blitz. Chisum line did a good job of picking up those 4 guys. There wasn't a lot of pressure. Quarterback had time to throw, but that meant there were 7 guys back in coverage. And Gallahan did this last week against Tom Bean, as he threw into double coverage, and that's what he did again right there, and just didn't really have a chance.
Yeah, and like I said, when he wants the deep ball. There's no question about that, and I would imagine that when watching film, Cooper probably picks up on that as well. He wants the big hitter. This kick is up and just sneaks it in. Takes us to 35-0 with 4:45 to go in the second quarter. And we will step aside here on Game Day.
Hello everyone, I'm Jason with Golden Corral in Texarkana. I've got big cheers going out to Lone Star Heating and Air. I talked with Matt Shirley over at Lone Star Heating and Air. They actually came out, looked to see what we needed. They ordered the supplies or the equipment and everything. They came in and they did the install. They did 2 units in one day with no business disruptions whatsoever. Thanks to Lone Star Heating and Air, we got our air up and going and everything's running good.
Back on Game Day, the Cooper Bulldogs really flexing out here at home. And, we know that Cooper, they're in a, pretty good district. Obviously, the game that'll come up against Honey Grove is going to be a big one.
That's the last week of the year, last week of the season.
Rivercrest has been a team that's been pretty good. Pewitt, traditionally a very strong team, kind of in a growing process. They took a few steps back over the last few years, but nonetheless, I'll tell you, there are some teams that think that they can either upset and win this district or, come in second, obviously wanting some playoff berths. Cooper is one of those. Everybody and their mama are picking the Honey Grove Warriors. Can't blame them. Rylan Morris and that crew, they are dynamic, they're powerful, and they've got a winning culture over in Fannin County, but they've got a winning culture here in Delta County as well.
Yes, they do. Cooper's been a good team. We've been back in Paris for 14 years, and Cooper, I maybe can count on 2 fingers how many times they missed the playoffs in 14 years, and they're every year in, year out, they're really a good team. And Honey Grove and Cooper, they're the pride of that district for sure, and that's going to come down to the last week to who wins. They'll probably both be undefeated going into that game, and that'll be a big show, a big showdown.
So Gallahan comes out. They're going to go back to that quad formation, 5 wide. And they fake it and then launch one deep, and it's an easy pick.
Yeah, he's still going. Good grief.
And they finally take him down, but
they're going to go back and look at the film on that, and they're going to see that there were some receivers along the sideline that were open, and he was throwing. I don't know who he was throwing to, but
it's going to have to be a situation where Callan is open to learning, and putting the negative behind him and open to learning, what he can do that's ahead of him and turn some big negatives like these interceptions. Yeah. And, if he takes the coaching, which I expect him to do, I think he will.
Absolutely. As a sophomore, he's going to learn how to maybe go through progressions a little bit better and see an open receiver.
And then in the future, what you're looking for is that interception to turn into a completion of 10 yards. And sometimes that's all you should take. Good turnout from Lamar County. Obviously not the longest trip. It's town right next door, but nonetheless, I would say that stands are about 80% full on the Chisum side.
Optimism's pretty high this year, just to how we've been playing thus far before tonight.
Miller's going to take it himself. And my goodness.
Hunter Holland.
Hunter Holland he said, I've had enough. I really like Hunter. I had an opportunity to meet him before the season started, sit down and talk with him a little bit. Very soft-spoken, mild-mannered young man. And my favorite kind of players are those kind of guys away from football, and then you strap on a helmet. There's someone a little different.
Yeah, he's a dog when he puts on the helmet for sure.
Handoff coming left. And he gets stuck pretty good. Once again, it's Holland.
And Lucas Dixon also on that tackle. They did a good job of following the flow of the play and not letting it get ahead of them.
And this is kind of after that first long run that Cooper had. Just a yard, 2 yards. They were really limiting the Cooper Bulldogs. And then got away from them.
Yeah, and just a busted play here and a busted play there.
Man in motion, left to right. They give it to him on the sweep. Flag comes out. It'll go into the end zone, probably coming back.
I think the defensive end looked like he was double-teamed and held and tackled is what I saw. We'll see if it's holding.
Now, that's a lot of personnel to change for a hold.
Yep.
A flag did come out. We haven't gotten any kind of call yet.
Yeah. Well, I guess there wasn't.
Interesting.
Maybe it just fell out of his pocket.
fell out of his pocket 20 feet in the air. Nonetheless, the extra point on its way. It's kind of up.
Doink, and did it go over?
When it's going right,
yeah,
it goes right. 42-0 as the second quarter is winding down. Chisum taking the kickoff when we come back here on Game Day.
At Raffaele Property Management, keeping our tenants comfortable is a top priority. That's why we trust Lone Star Heat and Air. They've always been dependable, quick to respond, and their work is top-notch. Whether it's routine service or an urgent call, they take care of it with professionalism and care. We couldn't recommend Lone Star Heat and Air more for anyone looking for a reliable HVAC service.
You don't. And we are back here in Cooper, Texas. And if you are a Bulldog fan, you got to love what you're seeing. You know, I kind of called it a get-right week. And if you are Chisum and you're looking for, you know, what is the positive that you can take from 42-0 before the half? Well, the positive, if you are Coach Millsap, is, man, your playbook is whatever you want it to be. Do you need to work on this or that? Okay, well, do it. You know, I mean, by all means, go for it, do it. And there is just no limitation because, you know, you're not having to worry about risk versus reward. You look at the scoreboard and, you know, is what it is. Hadn't come to play tonight. But if you're saying, man, you know, we worked on this in practice and we didn't quite have it right, let's test it out in a game. And if it goes wrong, what's the real difference at this point? And then next thing you know, you're in district and you're going up against a rival like Prairie Land, or you're going up against Harmony or Edgewood, one of those teams that, you know, you need to beat in order to get into the playoffs. Right. Maybe you're a little bit sharper at that point. So Chisum, 4 wide, handoff Jordan. They'll push the pile ahead a little bit. Keep it pushed. And that'll end up being a 4-yard gain. And like I said, really didn't have any business being 4 yards.
No, it looked like it was a whole lot of nothing and ended up being a 4-yard gain.
Timeout, Cooper in control here on Game Day.
We're so excited you decided to become a member.
Thanks. I didn't think it would be this easy.
I know. We've opened up memberships so even more people can take advantage of our amazing services.
Are you going to clean this up?
Become a new member and take advantage of all RRCU can offer. Experience the credit union difference anytime, anywhere.
No, seriously, are you going to clean this up?
Do you RRCU?
And back here on Game Day, commanding night for the Cooper Bulldogs, 42-0. And, you know, Mike, just shooting straight with you, I expected Cooper to win this game. You know,
sure.
But I don't think that I expected, you know, this sort of lopsided contest, especially in the first half like this. I thought that Chisum would come out and be able to get some big hitters like they have over the last couple of weeks, but it's been rough, and here they're going to get hit with a false start, I believe, and they do.
And again, you go back to that, you don't need to be playing from behind the chains.
Yeah.
with this trouble they're having moving, especially after you had a nice 4-yard gain on the first play.
And they've been able to get that. You know, the runs with Jordan, and in high school, okay, yeah, 4 yards a carry is it's nothing. You know, it's not lighting the world on fire, but you get ahead of the chains. You give yourself an opportunity. When you fall behind, you know, you throw that out the window, and here's a play that's going to go for no gain. And then something that I'm still very much getting used to is the 2-minute warning here in high school. Or did Cooper call a timeout? I think Cooper called a timeout before that 2-minute mark. So we will keep it right here because they're going to run a play, and then it will be the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, and Cooper's thinking we're getting the ball back, and we're going to have one more possession before halftime. trying to conserve as much time.
So what they have, and I'll adjust my clock here, what they have is 2:01 on the scoreboard. And so Chisum will run this play on 3rd down, and Cooper, in their mind,
they're anticipating getting a stop.
Yeah.
Clock will stop.
Exactly.
And then Chisum will punt. They'll have about 1:45 for a final possession of the first half.
And I'm still getting used to that, and I think it's called in high school the 2-minute timeout. 2-minute timeout, warning,
Yeah, they don't want to call it a warning.
I guess. You say tomato, I say tomato. Ball out, Cooper jumps on it, and, just like Cooper drew it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you said when things are going right, they go right. Well, when things are going wrong, they go wrong. This is 5th turnover. It's been 3 picks and 2 fumbles.
I believe so. So there is the 2-minute timeout here now at the high school level. Cooper well in control, 42-0. And we're going to take a break. We'll be right back here on Game Day.
We're here at the biggest game of the year for the kickoff, and I say these local guys have no competition, John.
No doubt, Stephen. Why sweat in the press box?
When you can sit like a king.
And we got the best seats in the house right here, baby.
Where every seat is the best seat.
Oh, yeah. Texas Furniture and Appliance. Local since 1927.
These players are definitely in their comfort zone.
You say something?
And we're back on Game Day where the Cooper Bulldogs, total domination here in this game. And Mike. There's Meeks once again, and
nothing meek about Meeks and the way he runs the ball.
Not a huge kid, 5'8", 180. But that 180 is stout, and
it's like a bowling ball.
Yeah,
man.
he's pretty thick in the trunks. Runs with a low center of gravity. I talk about pad level. Runs with a good pad level. They'll fake it to him, and sprinting to the right finds a man in the flat, and it falls incomplete. And finally, something goes
right.
Modestly
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can, Chisum, their defense needs to get a stop here, but before half and just go into halftime, I guess, licking your wounds. They do get the ball in the 3rd. Go in and come up with some kind of game plan.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm not going to ask that, oftentimes I hear and people, if you're the coach, what do you say at halftime? Man, come on, I don't know. I know Coach Millsap. He's a very positive-minded guy. He can be intense when he needs to be. But I'll tell you this, there's no script for, halftime speech for this sort of thing. It's not a movie.
Yeah.
There's
not a win one for the Gipper.
Yeah. Al Pacino's not going to walk in and give the piece by inches speech from Any Given Sunday. So what you do is this one's going to come back, another hold against Cooper. What you do is you tell your kids, hey, look, what I want to do is I want to start over 0-0, try to win the second half.
Yeah.
That's my idea. The scoreboard right now is what it is, 42-0. It's not good.
Yeah.
But what we can do is start over in our own minds, win the second half, and take that into our next game. Miller rolling out to his right, dumps it off. They pick up a good amount of that lost yardage from the holding penalty going to Finney, one of their dynamic players. But now Cooper, they do have a timeout in their back pocket. Obviously, they're throwing the ball around a little bit, not something they're used to. 3rd and 12. Here's a ball way back there. Now you got to bring him to the ground, and they'll at least force him out. So you got him to 4th down. Cooper obviously will go for it here. And if you are a band parent or a band grandparent, we will have that for you coming up shortly here on Game Day, as the Cooper Bulldog Band and the Chisum Mustang Band will be out on the field. And, of course, it's interesting when – looks like Cooper's going to take that final timeout. We're going to keep it here for just a second. You know, this game started at 7. And in pre-district, you really got to pay close attention to schedules of who starts at 7, who starts at 7:30. So there's kind of that little bit of a buffer of time in between. And so as far as like scores from other games, we'll take a look at that and update you probably after halftime. But we've got some good ones. North Lamar taking on Canton
tonight.
Yeah, the Paris Wildcats got Van Alstyne. That was a game that they very much got their offense rolling in last year.
Prairie Land playing, is it Leonard tonight?
Yes, they're on the road at Leonard, and that's really interesting for that program. Not long ago, they were kind of fighting tooth and nail with Gunter for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, Gunter skyrockets into the stratosphere as
what a play.
Chisum does get the stop here. Taken down in the backfield.
Sawyer Brooks.
There is a flag down. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, goodness.
Offsides against the Mustangs. So.
Offsides. It's going to stay 4th down, but what you didn't want to do is give them another opportunity to pick up this 4th down. Got a little bit of a Red River showdown going on with Clarksville and Rivercrest. 6-0, Clarksville leading that one. Snap, straight sprint to the left, and that was the concern.
Yep.
And that's also why on Cooper's side, Coach Castorena, he wanted those, he used those timeouts very wisely on the other side of that 2-minute timeout and got the ball back. Chisum did everything right except that penalty jumping offside.
Yeah, they had them stopped. They had turnover on downs, had a chance to kneel it out and go to halftime, and
just couldn't come up with that final one.
They just have so much speed. Cooper has so many guys that are a threat.
Yeah, well, Finney and Miller, and then Meeks, maybe not the fastest, as the 2-point conversion is good. And that's a 50 spot here in the first half for the Cooper Bulldogs.
You call that a 50 burger, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what they call it?
Burger sounds pretty good right about now.
It does.
We're going to step aside. Kickoff coming up when we return here on Paris Game Day.
Ready to rep your school and your wallet?
I'm here to open a student account and score that sweet school debit card.
With no monthly fees, mobile banking, and a debit card that shows your school pride, our student account is built for your game plan.
Get in the game. Open yours today.
First Federal Community Bank, the only bank you'll ever need.
First Federal Community Bank, the only bank you'll ever need.
Back on game day, the Cooper Bulldogs kicking off. And pretty much what they've done all night, just that little squib. And Chisum trying to look for any sort of life there. They'll have 22 seconds and 2 timeouts.
Yeah, Carter Embry trying to scoop it up and try to make something happen. He's a guy that if he gets an open space, he can make something happen. But Cooper's just done a good job of being disciplined and not everyone trying to make one play at a time, but everybody staying in their assignments, and they're a well-coached team, you can tell.
I'll tell you this, something that's kind of surprising as far as looking at scores. You know, the Paris Wildcats are in a really tough district, and one of the teams that look to be in their way is Aubrey. Aubrey is off to a pretty rough start. They're looking at falling to 0-3.
Jet sweep around the right side goes nowhere. Number 58, Peyton Petty, Joshua Scantlin. Just a few of the Bulldogs that were there for the 1-yard loss.
And that's going to do it for the first half as both teams start to head towards the locker room. 50-0. The Cooper Bulldogs just taking it to the Chisum Mustangs. We'll have halftime for you right around the corner. Enjoy the bands here on Game Day.
At Moore Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Paris, we can make your next vehicle purchase simple, stress-free, and built around you. Whether you're looking for a rugged Ram truck, an adventurous Jeep, or a quality pre-owned, we have the right vehicle for you at the right price. And with over 700 5-star reviews, our customers know that our friendly, knowledgeable staff is here for you. So come see us off the loop in Paris, Texas, and for more details, visit morecdjr.com.
Freshman Breland Atnam. Freshman Addie Daigle. Freshman Nevaeh Graves. Sophomore Ainsley Kai Battle. Sophomore Callie Birdsong. Sophomore Chloe Brandt. Sophomore Akira Mayfield. Sophomore Logan Meyer. Sophomore Chloe Taylor. Sophomore Peyton Williams. We're just going to have this on halftime, like live shot. Senior Emma Northam. Senior Zaylee Waldriff. And your captain, Senior Kiki Ball. halftime entertainment, please welcome to the field the Chisum High School Marching Band. The band is under the field command of senior drum majors Colin Bell and Carly Patterson. The Chisum Pride Band will be performing selections from their 2025 UIL production, New Horizons. Tonight's second movement features senior Emma Northam on flute. Band students of the week are Donnie Pruitt and Campbell Brooke. This week we would also like to recognize our outstanding loading crew. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the sights and sounds of the Chisum Pride Band. the Chisum High School Band. The band is under the direction of Daniel Curry. Assistant Director is Landon Barnes. The band would like to take this opportunity to thank Tommy Schiller, Chisum ISD Superintendent, Clint Miller, Chisum High School Principal, Aaron Bridges, Chisum Middle School Principal, the Chisum ISD School Board, the Chisum Band Boosters, and you for your attention. Let's hear it again for the Chisum High School Band. Now let's hear it for your Cooper Varsity cheerleaders. Seniors, Captain Lexi Reed. Captain Addison Ross. Our juniors, Captain Caitlin Overfield. Kate Linehan. And Angelina Valdez. Our sophomores, Rachel McHenry and Abigail Carter. Freshmen, Chanley Boyke, Reese Quast, Gentry Neighbors, Kennedy Pine, Emmy Price, and our Bulldog, Anna James. Beginning, hands in my hand, ending our plan. The rest is still a legend. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Teach yourself that words are spoken. Live your life without what a better is. When you walk in, the rest is still a legend. Now taking the field is your Cooper Mighty Maroon Marching Band. Led on the field by drum majors Shane Williams, Harley Anderson, and Angelina Valdez. Their 2025 production is entitled Enchanted, arranged by On the Field Music. This includes the musical selections of Out There by Alan Menken, Celebration by Randall Standridge, I See the Light by Alan Menken, and A Million Dreams by Benji Pasek and Justin Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, Cooper ISD is proud to present your 2025 Cooper Mighty Maroon Marching Band.
Thank you.
Here's a bottle of water. That's from the cooler.
All right, thank you.
At our stadium, the light is right above the building, and the football kids used to fall and shoot. And oh my god. Whose mic is on?
All right, and we are back here in Cooper as the two teams getting ready to take to the field. Of course, very lopsided first half in this one. Not exactly what we expected. Chisum, who had come out the first couple of weeks and had a phenomenal offensive showing. Week 1 against Hugh Springs, week 2 against Tom Bean. They put up some massive points, and then here, a lot of sloppy play, too many turnovers, things of that nature occurred, and that's why they got behind the 8 ball. And then Cooper, a team that is always in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round of the playoffs, just kind of had some big hitters and took it to them. Came up with the turnovers, were very opportunistic on defense. When they, saw the ball, they took the ball. So with that said, both of these teams getting ready, stretching, headed back out onto the field. We will step aside, and when we come back, we will have kickoff for you to start the second half. Chisum taking the football when we return here on Paris Game Day.
Sorry you're under the weather, Susie. Here are those loan docs.
Thanks, James. I'm so glad we didn't have to delay this closing.
Tissue?
Thanks.
Secure and safe loan closings, or take care of just about any banking task. Experience the credit union difference. Anytime, anywhere. With RRCU's digital banking. Do you RRCU?
And we are back, and of course it will be Chisum taking the second half kickoff. And Mike, we've got some scores pulled up. So let's go ahead and take a look as these two teams get ready to go at it here in the second half and just see what's been going on in the Red River Valley, but also with teams that these two teams might run into.
Well, we mentioned Prairieland. They're playing at Leonard. They're trailing right at the half, 29-13. That's one of the scores that I've got here.
Detroit at the half, trailing Trenton 22-20 as Cooper gets ready to kick this one away. Clarksville leading Rivercrest 14-0. They had a really young team that went to the postseason, as this one is drilled into the chest. Looks like that's going to be Caden Daniel. I mean, hit him square in the numbers and just kind of stuck like Velcro.
Well, Honeygrove is playing tonight at home against the Winsboro Red Raiders. That's a tough team to play in a pre-district schedule. They're trailing Winsboro 21-7.
I'll tell you this, though. Winsboro has one of my favorite high school players, a young man named Camden Capehart.
Mm-hmm.
And he's about 5'7", $160 maybe, but that kid can fly. I mean, already multi-100-meter dash state champion.
And I actually know his mama. I used to live in Winsboro, and
oh yeah,
I know his mom is Amanda Capehart, and nice family. As the Cooper Bulldogs sniffed that last run out, they had a man in the backfield, brought him down for no gain. I think they're pretty much saying you're going to have to beat us with somebody else besides Braden Jordan, or you're going to have to do something.
Right.
They're dialing in to stop him. They're going to make you have to do something else.
Yeah, and like we said, the whole adage of, if you're the coach, what do you say at halftime? Man, you say let's start this over as Jordan gives a nice stiff arm and then pushes ahead for a gain of about 4 or 5. But, you say let's start the score over, guys. Go out there and win this second half. If it ends up 57-14, then we mark that second half as a win for us as we carry over going into next week. So,
and they've got to remember that this is probably one of the 2 best teams they're going to play on their schedule.
Them and Grand Saline.
So after this, everybody else is going to seem a little easier, you would think. And I'd like to talk a little bit about their district in a little bit if we have time.
Of course. 3rd and 5, snap, hand Jordan. And there's not going to be much there. And, this has been really, 3rd down has been an incredible struggle for Chisum. When you get ahead of the chains, you get to an area. They have lived in this middle part of the field all night long. They've lived around the 50-yard line.
And they've lived at 2nd and 4, and they just can't seem to get on 3rd down that extra 2 or 3 yards and then to move the chains.
Right. A lot of times, you kind of figure that you lose on 1st down and that stalls your drive. 1st down, they've been getting 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But 3rd down, and you know what? 3rd and 5, let's pick up 2 or 3 yards and set up a 4th and manageable situation. And they haven't been able to do that. And it really throws a kink in things.
The
play
clock has been at 0 for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, and they kind of just let it be.
Game, yeah.
And I know that they waved the clock, but the way that this is going to work, guys, is scoreboard clock moves, our clock moves. So he might have blown it dead, but I think that these 2 teams have that agreement. And this one's going to get away. Does the smart thing and just dives on the football.
Yeah, that'll be something coaches will work on this week, kind of cleaning up that's 2 back-to-back punt snaps that have been not where you want them to be.
Right.
But it's early, these games really, and until they go to play Lone Oak, these games really don't matter. These are warm-ups, and you're supposed to be getting all the bugs and the kinks and everything worked out.
Well, and that was a note that I made in the first half when you could kind of see, where this game was headed is, if you are Coach Millsap, if you're the offensive play caller on that side, really what this is going to come down to is, I can call anything I want. Is it successful? Maybe, maybe not. But at the very least, I don't have to be particular about my play calling, and we can work on things against a stout defense at that.
Mm-hmm. Tanner Spear did a good job coming over and cleaning up that tackle. He was assisted by Mason Miller. 5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5.
And that's really what needs to happen. Regardless of what happens on offense, the Chisum defense needs to stand up and limit Cooper here in the second half, as looks like they're going to come up with the football here. And if there is one thing tonight that has kind of, been I wouldn't even say thorn in the side. I mean, just kind of like, more like a slight itch.
Yeah.
Really is, there's been some bad snaps.
Yes.
And that's been about it.
Yeah, those are some things that Cooper's going to want to clean up, preparing for district play too. Those are the kind of plays against a team like Honey Grove that cost you the game.
Absolutely. And, you look at the Grand Saline, 41-42, 42-41. You look at Collinsville, 14-0, which, by the way, I don't care if it was a shortened game for Collinsville to hold Cooper to 0.
Yeah,
that's something serious.
Yeah. Well, Collinsville went 4 rounds deep in the playoffs last year. They were 11-3, and they lost to the eventual state champion in the playoffs. So they're a salty team.
Gallahan comes out, single back to his right. And once again, not a whole lot there.
And Cooper's front 4 is just doing a really good job. They're not sending all the run blitzes like they were.
Well, Coach Castorena is a tremendous defensive coach. I know that we've seen Cooper with the speed and, Miller and Finney, those guys who can really run on offense and some of the creative jets that they've gone. But really, Coach Castorena hangs his hat on defense. I mean, he's been a part of some programs that have been just stifling defensively. And, of course, I'm referring to where he was before Cooper, Gunter, a place that's really, really tough. And so bringing up 3rd down and 9 here for the Chisum Mustangs.
Yeah, the Chisum offense has just not been able to get a whole lot going here in the second half. Carter Embry is in it running back, and
so Gallahan from the empty gun brings a man in motion. Spear, they throw the slant, and
I think that was there. He just he threw it a little bit early.
Yeah.
I think
a little bit wide.
A little wide, a little early. I think that route would have been there. They might want to go back and look at that.
Well, I tell you,
might have some success.
Slant is about as reliable of a route as there is. If you can gauge kind of how that guy is lined up, get across his face, you're going to have a little bit of room to squeeze a ball in there.
Another decent punt.
Good punt.
Coverage downfield.
Now,
that's Lucas Dixon.
This is going to be interesting because I don't know if this is a flag on the play, maybe a sideline warning of some sort, but there is a flag. If you look at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, down here on the.
Yeah, there's a flag nearly on the bench.
Yeah, it's on the turf right next to the bench.
And it's a hold against Cooper. Interesting. I don't know that that one might have slipped.
I'll never see.
He nearly hit us with that flag up here in the box.
Usually the holding, you're throwing the flag towards where the hold was or where it was committed. Not backward. I don't know. Maybe he pulled it out and it slipped out of his hand. Maybe I don't know. But
that was probably the case.
Hey, we can go back and run back the tape after the game and see what happened.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about game day.
That's right. Run back the tape and look at it.
So Cooper comes out at the 21-yard line following that penalty, and the officials still in some sort of discussion here. And I tell you, one thing that I love and appreciate about coaches, and it doesn't matter, you know, football, basketball, whatever, is they will still be very particular even at this point in a game. As this run goes for about 1 yard. But I have seen coaches leading by 50, as Cooper is doing now, and just
blowing a gasket.
Yeah, irate about whatever it is.
Yeah, you missed that block right there.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's a sign of a good coach.
Yeah. Yeah, you were supposed to zig and not zag.
Right. There you go. Out of the shotgun, split backfield, and this time delivering a blow is Hendrix Williams.
That's not a name we've called, so he's got fresh legs off the bench coming in and tore off a nice run.
And Julian Castorena in the backfield, and then you got Braden Williams, who we know can run, in at quarterback. So they got the twos out there.
Lucas Dixon again on another tackle. Tanner Spear also in on there.
Second down and 9. Williams. Man goes in motion. Hand it to him on the sweep. And taken down right around the line of scrimmage. So these are the things that we're talking about. Like, you know, these are obviously Cooper's twos. But you collect these as wins. You have to mentally chalk this up as we are playing better. You know, you have to find a way to allow some positives to enter your mind so that you get ready for next week.
If you can shut them out in the second half, you can at least say, hey, at least we stopped the bleeding.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Well, that guy had a lot of room to run,
Stephen. A lot of room.
There was not a defender within 7 yards of him.
And he had a blocker out there taking care of another defensive back. But
yeah, I don't know if you heard me gasp. I was like, it's like this isn't going to be pretty. This was going to be a big gain, if not a house call.
And a Cooper Bulldog helmet comes off. That young man looks like it's James Sneed is going to have to come out of the game, and he'll have Gavin Houchins
foul against the Mustangs.
And that's probably where the helmet came off.
Might have been.
And I always felt like, you know, the helmet coming off rule, if it's a personal foul and it gets ripped off,
you shouldn't have to come out.
You shouldn't have to come out.
Yeah, that's not the spirit of the rule.
And I am stunned that a team hasn't been like, oh, it's 3rd and 2. I'm going to rip Derrick Henry's helmet off. He's got to come out of the game on 4th and short, you know. Like I'm going to rip, you know, Jalen Hurts' helmet off, and you can't tush push anymore.
You raise a really good point.
Hand off, coming right, diving ahead. Good finish to that run from Castorena.
But looking at Chisum's district, you've got Lone Oak, who finished 7-4 last year. You got Prairie Land, who finished 4-6 last year. Quitman was 3-7. Of course, Grand Saline, they were 11-1. Harmony 3-8. Edgewood 8-4. You know, you got to think, well, Grand Saline's probably not going to be a possibility in the win column. But what games do you see on their district, Stephen, that you think they might have a shot?
And you're talking about Chisum here?
Chisum's district.
Yeah, no, I really think that for Chisum, Prairie Land obviously is going to be a very big game.
That's homecoming, too, for Chisum.
Quitman and Harmony are a couple of games that I think are winnable for the Chisum Mustangs.
You got to win at least 3.
Yeah, you got to win those 3 to make the playoffs. And then, on the other side, I can promise you this is not a question. This is a fact. Prairie Land has the same type of conversation.
Yes.
And, you would hope that both Chisum and Prairie Land are looking at a team, maybe like Lone Oak, a good team, and you feel like, hey, we can beat them as well, right? They didn't start the clock on here in Cooper. And the refs are saying, come on now.
Yeah, the refs
Someone's
are trying
asleep,
to get them running.
Because my clock, I'm running, and I'm going to have to stop just to get caught up with them. And, they may not they did start the 40-second clock, but nonetheless, this is going to force Cooper to run an extra play on this side of the third quarter.
Yeah.
Because someone was asleep at the wheel in the other booth.
Well, why would they stop the clock? They were running.
Well,
right?
they were running, but you had you had the personal foul penalty.
Yeah. So they stopped it for the penalty then.
Yeah, and then they were supposed to wind it and start the clock back up, and it just never happened. Now, fortunately, certainly for Chisum, you get a big hit there, loss of yards. It's going to bring up third down, but it's also going to end this quarter. And we will head to the fourth after a very brisk third quarter. It stays 50-0. The Cooper Bulldogs lead here on game day.
Hey, I'm Josh Durrett, project manager with 2B Builders. We're a local GC here in Texarkana. We have Lone Star out here doing our heating and AC. They do a good job for us. We really appreciate the customer service that they provide. I know that at Lone Star Heating and Air, I can always call Matt or Dave, their head commercial HVAC guy, and they will always pick up the phone when I need them. And that's a big thing when we're working out here on these commercial projects. Usually when we're in a bind, we need something and we need it pretty quickly, and we can rely on Lone Star for that.
And we are back here in Cooper starting the fourth quarter. And, of course, went the way that it went for a couple of reasons. That third quarter was so brisk because you have the agreement, run the clock, and then also Cooper has their twos. Probably some kids, sprinkling in for Chisum, getting a little bit of run. But at the same time, it's kind of a little bit of a conundrum, if you will, because if you are the Chisum Mustangs, and if you're Coach Millsap, you want some positivity from your starters.
Yeah.
So second down and 11. And a big block out on the outside. And
yeah. Castoreno knocked Caden Daniels, just about knocked his helmet off. An incredible block around the edge.
Lucas Dixon comes in and cleans it up, makes the tackle. Brings up third down and 7. And this is certainly going to be two-down territory. Cooper doesn't have a kicker.
Right. No, there's no field goal attempt from here.
There's the snap. Castorena around the right side gets taken down, that time by Peyton Brown. And that'll bring up fourth and about 4.
And this is where Chisum, you can maybe hang your hat on something. Hey, we had a big fourth down stop,
right
here at the end of, towards the end of the game. And, so just anything you can look at to build confidence going into next week. Because it's no doubt it's going to be hard going home tonight in that bus with this loss.
And, of course, Cooper taking the entire 40-second clock, winding it down, getting out of here tonight, and well, I say that as they look like they take a timeout. Timeout. Cooper Bulldogs, they lead the Chisum Mustangs 50-0 here on game day.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason with Golden Corral in Texarkana. I've got big cheers going out to Lone Star Heating and Air. I talked with Matt Shirley over at Lone Star Heating and Air. They actually came out, looked to see what we needed. They ordered the supplies or the equipment and everything. They came in and they did the install. They did 2 units in one day with no business disruptions whatsoever. Thanks to Lone Star Heating and Air, we got our air up and going and everything's running good.
Back on game day as the Chisum Mustangs trying to get a stop here on 4th down against Cooper. Take the ball back, put together a drive. This clock is going to roll here in the 4th quarter, and so you're not going to have a lot of possessions to do something with. So get stop here, and you're trying to make something of that next offensive drive to make yourself feel good, as Williams has Castorena to his left out of the shotgun. And now we have the play blown dead.
I don't see a flag.
I didn't see it. It was just a stoppage in play. Cooper lines up heavy to the right, and they'll run left. Here's Williams diving in. Oh, can't quite bring him down. Second man can't bring him down. It'll be a first down.
Lucas Dixon had him dead to rights at the line of scrimmage.
I think Carter Embry did too. He had a couple of chances there. And you got to make those plays. That was what we've been talking about, the opportunity to kind of say, you know what, we made that play. We got that stop. When you get into the film room, whether it's tomorrow or Monday or whenever the case is, that you look back at this ball game, but rather Cooper, new set of downs, hand off right, flag down as Dixon coming out playing here in the second half. Someone jumped off sides. They're going to say that Cooper maybe was lined up in the neutral zone.
Lucas Dixon's had a good game tonight. He missed that one tackle, but coming into the night, he had 6 tackles on the season, and he's had at least 10 tonight, I would think.
That leads me to something that I want to talk about as far as football goes. People seem to believe, football has too many one-guy mentality, and a lot of times it's, of course, the quarterback, right?
Right.
If your team lost, well, the quarterback wasn't good enough. Man, it is the ultimate team sport.
Yeah, you need all 11 guys on both sides of the ball.
So you can have a game that's 50-0, like we have right here, and someone from the team with 0 play well. It is possible, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And it drives me crazy whenever, ring culture, my team won this ring, and so my left guard is better than yours. I'm like, that makes no sense. Mm-hmm. And everybody loves to bring up, okay, so is Eli Manning that much better than Dan Marino? Well,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, suddenly it's different. Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just an example. You have a good defense, good, solid, and every guy doing their job.
Right.
It takes everybody doing their job. A lot of times on a 50-0 blowout, coaches get blamed. And as we saw on that play with Dixon a second ago, they had the perfect defense called.
Sure.
They had it executed. They just didn't finish it, and so it's not always the coach's problem either. It's
exactly
just if players don't execute.
Timeout on the field. 50-0. We are getting ready to wind this one down here in the fourth. You're listening to Paris Game Day.
At Ravioli Property Management, keeping our tenants comfortable is a top priority. That's why we trust Lone Star Heat and Air. They've always been dependable, quick to respond, and their work is top-notch. Whether it's routine service or an urgent call, they take care of it with professionalism and care. We couldn't recommend Lone Star Heat and Air more for anyone looking for a reliable HVAC service.
Back on game day, 7:22 remaining in this ball game, and it'll go quick as Cooper, who marched down the field, had a couple of good runs, having a tough time capping off this drive. Williams sprint to the right side, finds a little hole, puts his foot in the ground, and he is very close to the first down marker.
Another tackle by Tanner Spear. That was a touchdown saving tackle, I might add. Tanner's had a good game tonight as far as tackling goes. He's been in on every play.
Yeah, and again, it's a case of, that's a guy beyond that first line of defense. I know he plays some linebacker, rolls down a little bit, but a lot of times you find yourself turning, chasing. Right here, you got to bow up and stop this third down run that's inevitably coming your way. Split backfield, handoff left coming. And they're going to, Cooper saying we got in. Chisum, of course, saying no, and it'll end up at the 1.
First and goal. They got 4 shots getting it in here.
At the 1, I don't know.
I'm not saying it's going to take 4. I'm saying.
Well, another young man that I thought had a good game tonight was Hunter Holland.
Yes.
We saw Hunter come in and really play well, as this one does get in.
Castorena.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Cooper Bulldogs do in their district. Obviously, it's disappointing to start 0-2, but I really think that by the time they get to that game against Honey Grove, you're going to have some real excitement brewing.
Yes, I just hope both teams can stay healthy, too. That's going to be a fun game. That'll be a fun game to follow.
56-20 with the extra point still to come from the Cooper Bulldogs. High snap, brought down. That's about as good of a kick as he's had all night, but he misses as far as the distance goes. So 5:45 left in this ball game. Kickoff coming up here on Paris Game Day.
Yay! We're so excited you decided to become a member.
Thanks, I didn't think it would be this easy.
I know. We've opened up memberships so even more people can take advantage of our amazing services.
Are you gonna clean this up?
Become a new member and take advantage of all RRCU can offer. Experience the credit union difference anytime, anywhere.
No, seriously, are you gonna clean this up?
Do you RRCU?
Harmony lost, or is losing. Detroit's taking the lead.
And we are back here on Game Day with the Cooper Bulldogs kicking away to Chisum. And again, this is an interesting strategy, and I don't know if this is intentional. I mean, we see Williams on the extra point, elevate the ball to get it over the crossbar at least. But when it comes to kicking off, they have no interest in that ball going anywhere in the air.
It's probably because of Braden Jordan, who's averaging 43 yards per return this year. So that's probably.
Well, I'm not saying that he's going to kick it back to the 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that ain't going to happen. But, a little pop, something, that. So just keeping it on the ground and squibbing it is clearly, it's like they understand the limitations of the kicker. So, hey, let's see if we can make something of it.
Right. Of course, you squib that ball, that oblong-shaped ball bounces funny.
Oh, yeah.
And you saw it ricochet off the first man he came to.
Chisum had done a good job handling it all night. Here's a handoff. This one's going to go to Embry. He'll pick up about 3 or 4. And again, first down has always been ahead of the chains. Second down and 5, second and 6, somewhere in there.
Yeah, they've only had 2 pre-snap penalties that have put them behind the chains the whole game, which is good. And second and 3 is not a bad place to be if you can get 4 yards on this carry and set up 3rd and short.
Snap, handoff, Embry once again. Embry breaks through a couple of tackles, picks up the first down.
I'd love to see Embry just get a little bit of open space in front of him because he is quick. That was a good-looking run.
So now looking to the sideline, and Chisum also using up that 40-second clock. And at this point, you're like, hey, man, we want to be healthy is what we want to do. We want to execute. We want to, come out with some positives. But I think the most positive thing we can do right now is, to have all our kids available next week. And whether you're Cooper, whether you're Chisum, that's probably the mindset right now.
Right, because Embry has been in primarily the second half at running back. They've given Braden a rest. Of course, Braden is also plays defense.
Yeah, and it's been a tough go. I think that Braden has probably found more yards than what were actually there at times. And that's going to be tough to see in the stat sheet as Embry tries to pick through and then just gets upended. But, we've seen a couple of times where it's like, stop for no gain. Well, no, there's 3.
Yeah.
They're kind of hidden yards there.
Yeah, Braden's had a decent first half. He probably had 45, 55 yards, wouldn't you think, running the ball?
Somewhere in there, and, turnovers limit what he's been able to do. Yep. He had a fumble.
Yep. But
nonetheless, I think that young man has a phenomenal future ahead for him. Snap, handoff, Embry trying to find something, and Cooper.
Yeah, he found him.
Yeah, and again, there's some yards that probably he shouldn't have picked up, dodging some tacklers, bringing up 4th down and 7.
Yeah, Embry was hit at the line of scrimmage, and he managed to shuffle his feet and get out from underneath the defender, and just his own sheer grit was able to get those 3 yards.
So as this clock continues to wind, we're looking at 4th down and 7. They'll hand off, stretching to the right side, and look at there, picking up the first down.
Nice 9-yard run by Embry there around the right side.
So you're probably looking at running one more play and this, wrapping it up. But when we say you're looking to end with something positive, even if that's it, that run on 4th down and 7, and, it's bleak, it's doom and gloom. At least you can say, you know what, we blocked and Embry picked up some good yards. Maybe find a little bit more of a role for this young man. They'll hand it off to him one more time, and he'll pick up about 4. And that's going to do it for us here in Cooper. The Bulldogs dominant from start to finish. They win 56-0 over the Chisum Mustangs. Mike, I appreciate you coming out and joining me.
Thanks for asking. I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Obviously, the game may not be as enjoyable, but it's always good sitting down, calling one with you.
Absolutely. I always enjoy it. True pro. You're a true professional.
Well, I appreciate it very, very much. So for Reed Preston, Ava Langley, Jordan Wise, Brittany Young on the camera, we'd like to thank you guys so very much for coming out tonight and tuning in to Paris Game Day. I'm Stephen Johnston. We'll see you next week when we'll be at Paris High School as they get ready to take on White House.